morning all. So today we are going to discuss the H-plane T junction and few numericals with respect to E-plane T junction and H-plane T junction, and then if time permits we will discuss about the magic T, which is the combination of both this E-plane and T-plane junction. Now we have derived the E-plane T junction with the help of certain assumption. It is having three port device. Okay, it is a three port device in which port 1, port 2, port 3 are available. Port 1 and 2, as we have seen, those two are collinear arm, and port 3 is called as a difference arm. So whatever the power is given with respect to port 1 and port 2, it considered as a in phase component. If the two power is fed with in phase, then the resultant output at the port 3 will be 0, because the difference, it is E arm, is called as a difference arm. Similarly, in our H-plane T junction, basically it is called as the additive part. Okay, that is called E-plane is for subtractive or difference arm, we can say, but in H-plane this arm is called as an additive arm. In this, what happens, and there is a little bit difference with respect to E-plane and H-plane. In E-plane, we have seen that we have matched the port 3. Okay, so S33 parameter is 0. Similarly, the relation between port 1 and port 2 are S12 is equals to S21, that also we have seen, those are having the same relationship. But when we are dealing with H-plane, here what happens, if you feed the power at port 1 and port 2 with in phase and same magnitude, that means the maximum output we are obtaining at port 3. Maximum output obtained at port 3 means the additive values. So P1 plus P2 must be equal to P3, and it is in phase with respect to these two ports. Okay. Now similarly, when I will feed the power at port 3, the power will split equally. Suppose if I am providing 10 watt of power, that means the resultant output at port 1 and port 2 will be 5 watt in phase. Okay. But the small difference with respect to E and H, the relationship between port 1 and port 2 is different. In H-plane, S12 is equals to S21 we have considered, but in this case, in H-plane, here S12 is negative quantity of S21. Why? Because there is a phase difference with respect to port 1 and port 2. If there is a relationship between port 1 and port 2, if I will identify, that means S12 is equals to minus S21. Similarly, if I will form a relationship between 1 and 3 and 3 and 2, power will be same, equally distributed, and those are having the in phase component. So we will identify this particular scattering parameter with the help of certain assumption. Okay. Now let us consider, here I have written axis of the side arm parallel to the H field of the main guide. So this H field will be propagating in this particular waveguide, and the axis of this collinear arm is parallel to the side arm. That is called H field parallel to the main guide. Similarly, if the two input waves, as I have told, two input wave provided at port 1 and port 2, then the resultant value will be obtained at port 3. Vice versa, if the power is fed at port 3, then it will split into two equal potential or two equal power at port 1 and port 2 in phase component with respect to 3. But if I will say what is the power relationship between port 1 and 2, then it is a different. S12 is equals to minus S21. So these are the simple relations through which we can identify the scattering matrix for the this H-plane T junction. Okay. Next, if the input at port 3 wave will split equally into port 1 and port 2 in phase and same in magnitude. So 1 with respect to 3 and 3 with respect to 2 will have the same potential. It is a equally distributed potential, and the phase is also going to be same. Okay. Now depend upon this thing, one more consideration we have to take, that is, 1 minute. in order to proceed with respect to the scattering parameter, we have to consider some features such as which particular port is going to be match dominated, okay, and what will be the relationship with respect to the other ports, and how the power is going to be distributed, okay. So as it is a 3-port network, my scattering parameters will have total number of scattering parameters are 9. So S11, S12, S13, S21, S22, S23, S31, S32 and S33. So these are the three 3-port device. So that means there are the 9 scattering parameters will be there, and we have to identify this relation. For this, same procedure what we have followed for E-plane T junction, same procedure we will follow, and we will obtain our scattering parameter. Okay. So first consideration is port 3 is matched perfectly. Okay. So if it is matched perfectly, that means the reflection coefficient of this scattering matrix for the third port S33 is 0. That is the first consideration. Okay. So that means we have perfectly matched, so that maximum power can be delivered to the port 3. Next, so when the power is fed at port 3, the equal potential or equal power will be splitted into port 1 and port 2 with equal in magnitude and equal in phase. So here what will happen? S13 is equals to S31, okay, then S23 is equals to S32, and one more relationship is what? Port 1 and port 2, it is S12 is equals to minus S21. But in E plane what happens? These are negative and these are positive with each other. Okay. So that already we have discussed in the previous class. So these are the condition. So this is the same power is available in the port 1 and port 2 with respect to port 3, and the relationship between port 1 and port 2 is opposite in phase. Magnitude will be same but opposite in phase. So S12 is equals to minus S21. Okay. Now we will proceed all these parameter, and then with the help of symmetric condition, and phase relation, will have S11 is equals to S22. So this is also one sort of relation. Okay. Now how to identify all these parameters? As we have identified the parameter with respect to the E plane, same procedure we are going to identify. So as I have written, the power is fed at port 3. Okay. So power fed at port 3. So at port 3 we are going to feed the power. Now for this case, so what will be my input power with respect to, so this is my input power. Okay. So input power is equals to half mod A3 square minus mod B3 square, like this. Take common half mod A3 square 1 minus mod S33 square. Why? Because B3 by A3 is the reflection coefficient. So it is half A3 square 1 minus mod S33 whole square. Now I will not substitute that 0 value. Now I have to identify the output power. Okay. So this is the input power is fed. Now this is the basic structure. It is in parallel in nature. Why it is parallel, that also I have already discussed, because here current is going to be distributed, potential is going to be same. Okay. For that it is called as a parallel. Now input power is going to be distributed. So output power we are going to observe. So output power observed at port 1 and port 2. So for port 1 it is half of B1 square plus half of B2 square. Now why B1 and B2 we have considered? Because these two ports only receive the power. No input power is provided. Input incident wave means it is A1 or B1 or A2 or B2 we have to represent. If I am feeding the power at port 3, that means my incident power is A3 and the reflected power is B3. Done. Only when I am providing the power at port 3. So when I am incident power is given, so two power will come into picture at port 3, port 1 and port 2. So when I am giving some incident power at port 1, incident power will look like this. It is A1 and it is B1. But since the port 1 used as a load in which the power is measured, so there is no A1, only B1 is going to be identified. So that I have written. And similarly in port 2 it is B2. Okay. But now we have to form relation with respect to port 3 because at port 3 we are giving the power. So what I will do, I will write half this A3 and B1. That whole thing I can write as, okay, so it is A3 and B3, okay, so let it be half and this is also half B square. So here we will get around A3 mod square whole into S13 mod square. Okay, why it is A3 and S13? If I will divide B1 by A3, you will get S13. If I will divide B2 by A3, you will get S23. And as we know that S13 is equals to S23. So in place of both I have written mod A3 square and S13 square. Okay, and it is twice because B1 and B1 both it will be added up, so it is twice. Now here you can see, now the junction is a lossless in nature as we have considered. So it is a lossless junction. So if it is lossless junction, your input power must be equal to the output power. Input power is equals to output power. Done. So this is the consideration. Input power is equals to output power. Now what is my input power? Input power is, here I will write half mod A3 square whole into S33 whole square, and output power is half whole into twice mod A3 square S13 mod whole square, like this. So this half get cancelled out. A3 square cancelled out. S33 which is perfectly matched, if you substitute here you will get 0. So it is 1 is equals to twice of S13 whole square. That means S13 is equals to 1 by root 2. Okay. Now if S13 is equals to 1 by root 2, that means these whole values are equal to 1 by root 2. It is so let me erase this part. So here I will write 1 minus 1 equals to twice of S31 whole square, due to which S13 is equals to 1 by root 2. Now as we have the first condition, S13 is equals to S31 is equals to S23 is equals to S32, which is equals to 1 by root 2 as per the given question. Okay. Now here we have S11 is equals to S22. Okay, and S12 is equals to minus S21. This is minus S21. Okay. So now I will represent all my scattering parameters. So S11, S12, S13, S21, S22, S23, S31, S32 and S33. Okay. So S33 is 0, perfectly matched. Next S13 is 1 by root 2. S23 is also 1 by root 2. S32 is also 1 by root 2. S31 is also 1 by root 2. Now we have left with S11, S22, S12 and minus S12. In place of S21 I have substituted minus S21. Now as per the lossless junction, it must satisfy the unitary property. Unitary property means either the row square component of scattering parameter must be equal to 1 or the column square individual square component of a scattering matrix of particular column must be equal to 1. So now we have to substitute. Okay. So as per this, as we have solved with respect to the E plane, similarly we have to assign the value for H plane also. So for this, what I will do, I will write S11 is equals to S22 is equals to half. Half power is distributed, and S12 is equals to minus S21 is also equals to half. It is also half power is distributed. So now if I will substitute here, it is half, then it is half 1 by root 2, this is minus half. Okay, S12 is minus half, then S21, this is minus half. Okay, so this is minus half, S22 is half, this is 1 by root 2, here it is 1 by root 2, here it is 1 by root 2 and this is 0. So this is the scattering matrix for H-plane T-junction. Now here what happens, S11 and S22 are the reflection coefficient. Okay, these are mismatch conditions, so value must be there, it must not be 0. Okay, as I have told, these E-plane T-junctions are poorly matched condition. So poorly matched means reflection coefficient must exist. So S11 and S22 is half. Okay. Now if these two values you have substituted half, then what is the value of S12 and S21? Here I will write S12 is equals to S21. So this is the relation. Okay. Now for this relation, how to identify the values? The values will be, so S12 is equals to S21. So values will be how much? Now if this is half, this is 1 by root 2, square these two components, add it and subtract with minus. So you will get S12 is equals to minus 1. Similarly S21 is also equal, because the power what is available at port 1 and port 2 relation are same phase. But if it is in different phase, that means it is in E plane. This is H plane means S12 is equals to S21. In E plane it is S12 is equals to minus S21. Okay, phase difference is there, because in E plane we have seen that when the electric fields are fed at port 3, here what happens, one minute. So these are the electric fields. Okay, one it will go down, one it will go up, and the electric fields are propagating in this particular nature. So here with respect to 1 and 2, I can write S12 is minus S21 in E plane. In E plane, make a correction, in E plane. But in H plane, both are having the same magnitude and same phase. As I have told, if the power is provided at the port 2 and port 1 with same phase, same magnitude, then the additive value is available at port 3. So I have substituted this value, And regarding this S12 and S21, this you can determine by substituting half here. So first row, if I will consider, it is half square plus S12 square plus 1 by root 2 square is equals to 1. Now here S12 square is equals to 1 minus 1 by 4 minus half. So 1 minus, so here it is 4 and here it is how much? 1 minus 2. So it will be around so it is 1 by 4 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square. It must be equal to 1. So it is 4, 1 plus 2, S12 square equals to 1. So S12 square is equals to 1 by 4. So it is 1 by 2. Okay. So here, due to the phase difference, due to the reflection value at the port 1 and port 2, I have assigned here minus half and here it is minus half. Okay. So depend upon these two relations, we can say that scattering parameters which is available for H plane is half minus half 1 by root 2 minus half 1 by root 2, and this is as it is. Now if you add all these components, your resultant will become 1. Okay, and this minus sign is only used to assign the phase relationship. The port 1 and port 2 relationship is out of phase. So magnitude is same but direction is minus. Okay, so it is phase shift is negative quantity. But with respect to port 1 and port 2, both are in phase and out of phase. In phase component with respect to port 3. Suppose in port 1 and port 2 we are giving the same magnitude, same phase, then at port 3 we are getting the additive value. Port 1 plus port 2, additive value is available. Similarly, if you feed the power at port 3, the equal splitted power is available at port 1 and port 2. So these are the basic relations through which we can identify. And if you get confused about the directions and all, remember this E plane. In this E plane, your S12 is equals to minus S21. If I will form a relation, you can see the direction of electric field is in downward in port 1, but in electric field at port 2 it is in upward. So magnitude is same but phase is different. But in this case, the magnitude and phase both are same. But here minus sign is only assigned in order to discriminate the power distribution. Okay. So here S11, S22 is half, S12 and S21 is minus half. We can assign. Okay. So this is the basic derivation for H plane T junction. Now with the help of this H plane T junction and E plane T junction, we can easily go up to solve few problems. Okay. Now I am going to discuss few problems through which you people can understand that what is the utilization of this scattering matrix. Okay. Okay. So this is the one numerical means we are going to solve. As it was written, a 20 milliwatt signal fed into one collinear arm, that is port 1, okay, of a lossless H plane T junction, as it is given that it is a lossless junction. Done. Calculate power delivered through each port when other ports are terminated with match load. Okay. Now here the power is available in collinear arm 1 and other two ports are perfectly matched. That means A2 is equals to A3 is equals to 0, because perfectly matched means reflection coefficient are going to be 0. So S22 is equals to S33 is equals to 0. Done. Now power is fed at port 1. So now it will have a relation with respect to port 2 and port 3. So first of all, I have to identify what is the power available in port 1, because we are feeding the power is 20 milliwatt, but how much power it is going to deliver, that we have to identify. So for that, we have the relation port 1 power, I can write P1, which is equals to incident minus reflection, like this. This I can write mod A1 square 1 minus S11 whole square. Done. Now what is A1 square? A1 square is the incident power what we are going to give to that particular port. So what is that incident power? Incident power is 20 milliwatt. Done. So it is 20 milliwatt. 1 minus mod S11 whole square. Now since it is a H-plane T junction, as we have determined this scattering parameter, this is half, this is minus half, this is 1 by root 2, minus half, half, 1 by root 2, this is 1 by root 2, this is 1 by root 2, and this is 0, like this. Now as per the given question, your port 2 and port 3 are perfectly match terminated. So that means S33, which is this is already, which is 0, and S22 is also 0, not half, it is 0. If it is not matched perfectly, you can assign half for that. Now if you see, S11 is half, so this is my S11. I will substitute this one. So it is 20 milliwatt 10 to the power minus 3, 1 minus 1 by 2 whole square, that means 1 by 4. So it is 20 into 3 by 4 milliwatt. So that means it is 15 milliwatt. That means at the port 1 we are going to feed the power with the 20 milliwatt, but the total power which is going to be distributed is 15 milliwatt. Remember this, because this is the incident power which is available at port 1, means we are giving the power, but when it is entering to that port 1, it is having this much, 5 milliwatt reduces due to the reflection. It is not matched condition. Okay. Next, what is the power available at port 2? Port 2. Now as I have shown in that figure, if we are feeding the power at one port, in other port only the reflected power is available, that is either B2 or B3. Now here in port 2 we have to form a relation with respect to port 1. So what I will write? Actually the power is B2 square, like this. But it must relate with respect to port 1. So what I will do? Mod A1 square B2 square divided by mod A1 square. So I will write like this, so that power relation can be identified. So it is mod A1 square and B2 by A1 is S21. So it is S21 square. So this is A1 square is how much? A1 square is 20 milliwatt. 20 milliwatt. And what is S21? S21 is minus half. So that means here I will get mod of minus half is half. So half whole square it is 4. So here I will get 5 milliwatt. 5 milliwatt. Similarly, at port 3, what is the power available? So I will write P3. So it is nothing but B3 square. I have to form a relation with respect to port 1. So A1 square into B3 square divided by mod A1 square. So it is mod A1 square into S31 square. So A1 square is how much? 20 milliwatt. Okay. And S31 is how much? 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2 whole square. So here it is 10 milliwatt. Now you can see the power has splitted up. Okay. Power is splitted up. How much? It is 15 milliwatt and port 2 is having 5 milliwatt. Port 3 is having 10 milliwatt, and we have solved this relation with respect to the scattering parameter of the H-plane T junction. So this is one sort of numerical through which you can understand where we have to use this scattering parameter, how we are going to use, and remember that what is the power is given to the arm, any arm, port 1, port 2, port 3, but you have to identify what is the power is going to be delivered to other port. It is deliver means you have to identify the power like this: incident power minus reflected power. Okay, incident power with respect to reflected power, you will get a relation with respect to the scattering parameter. Substitute that, and what is the transmitted power? That is the 15 milliwatt. Okay, and this 15 milliwatt you are going to distribute in port 2 and port 3. Now we will take one more question. Okay, so this is one more question, same similar question, but here in an H-plane T junction we have to compute the power delivered to the load. Okay, power delivered to the load 40 ohm and 60 ohm, which is connected to port 1 and port 2, when 10 milliwatt of power is provided at port 3. Now since it is a H-plane T junction, if you provide the power at port 3, the equal, it will split up into two equal half, and the power is available at port 1 and port 2 will be the same. Okay, that is the first analogy. How to proceed this? Second, since port 2 and port 1 is terminated with load impedance 40 ohm and 60 ohm, that means with the help of that you can determine the reflection coefficient. Now it is not terminated perfectly matched, so we can't make S11 or S22 as 0. Here it will be a different, it is a mismatch condition. Mismatch means as it is a lossless junction, characteristics impedance is 50 ohm, that you have to consider. Okay, as we are considering in our transmission line. Similarly, here the load impedance is different, 40 ohm and 60 ohm. So your reflection coefficient at port 1 is different, reflection coefficient at port 2 is different. That we have to determine. Okay. Now according to that, we have to proceed. Now here, first thing is port 3 power is 10 milliwatt. 10 milliwatt means 10 divided by 1000, so it is 0.01 watt is available, is delivered at this port. Now this power is going to be split into two equal parts and available at port 1 and port 2. Okay, how much? This I can write half of B1 square is equals to half of B2 square is equals to 0.05, because equal power is going to be available, that is half of this. Okay, so this is the power which is going to be available at port 1 and port 2. Now at port 1 and port 2, load impedance is available 40 and 60. We have to identify the reflection coefficient and then we have to substitute it. How? Let's see. So reflection coefficient at port 1 is ZL minus Z0, ZL plus Z0. So ZL is 40 minus 50, 40 plus 50. Here characteristics impedance is not given, that you have to consider, because each transmission line or any waveguide, the characteristics impedance standard value is 70, okay, 75. But if it is not given, consider 50 ohm. So it is minus 10 divided by 90, so minus 1 by 9. Similarly, reflection coefficient at port 2, ZL minus Z0, ZL plus Z0, so ZL is 60 minus 50, 60 plus 50, so it is 10 divided by 110, so it is 1 by 11. Okay. Why I am identifying this particular value, that I will tell. Now, as you can see, the power relation with respect to port 1 and port 2 we have to see. So port 1 I am discussing first. Okay. So port 1 is equals to half mod B1 square minus half mod reflection coefficient 1 into B1 square. So here I can take half B1 square whole into 1 minus reflection coefficient 1 square. Now it is incident. Okay, either you can proceed with respect to this relation or you can proceed with respect to the previous relations. Okay, now in this what I have done, in port 1 there is no incident power, it is only the reflected power we are going to deliver. Okay, so B1 is the power is available with respect to the port 3, that is half B1 square half B2 square is port 3. But since this power when we are going to deliver, there is one load is there which will reflect some power. Okay, and that reflection coefficient we have measured as minus 1 by 9. So we have to subtract minus reflection coefficient whole square with respect to this value. Now it is, this value is 0.0005 half B1 square 1 minus mod of reflection coefficient square. So it is 1 by 9, so it is 1 by 81. Now you need to solve this with the help of a calculator and you will get port 1 value is 4.93 milliwatt. Remember this relation, because here there is no incident power. Only the reflected power is going to be available in that port, and that too in that port 1 load is available. So in that load, due to the presence of load, some reflection will happen. So that reflection we have to include, we have to subtract it. So it is 1 minus reflection coefficient square. Done. So it is with respect to port 1. Similarly, I can write for port 2. So for port 2, half mod B2 square 1 minus reflection coefficient 2 square with the help of same analogy. And this value is how much? This value already it is half value of the transmitted value at the port 3, because equal power is splitting up. So it is 0.005 whole into 1 minus reflection coefficient square, that means 1 divided by 1 to 1. Solve this, you will get around 4.95 milliwatt. Okay, 4.95 milliwatt. Now when you add these two power, you will get around 10, because 4.93, 4.95, near about it is 55. So total is 10 milliwatt is going to be distributed at port 2 and port 1. But since we can't directly justify that the same power is available, here also I can say that equal power is available. But due to the presence of these two impedance 40 and 60, some reflection will be there, some reflection power will be there, due to which it is not 5, it will be less than 5. How much? It is 4.93. How much it is? 4.95. It is not 5, it is near about to 5. Okay, so here due to that less amount, some reflection occur due to the presence of this load. Mismatch is not there, match condition is not there, due to which maximum power may deliver. If it is match condition, up to this much is our answer, means half of the power is available. But since loads are available, reflection will be there, and due to which some losses will be there. And we can't say that in the port 1 5 milliwatt we are going to identify, or for port 2 5 milliwatt we are going to identify, but it is due to the reflection we are going to identify less. So one it is 4.93 and one it is 4.95 milliwatt. Okay, we will take one more question. Okay, so this is also quite similar to the previous one. So here it is H plane T junction. Okay, I have considered H plane. You can consider for E plane also. If you consider E plane, your scattering parameters is going to change. Okay, and according to that you have to proceed. T junction, which is lossless in nature. and microwave signal is 100 milliwatt is fed to the port 1, and we have to find the power at port 2 and port 3 if it is port 2 and port 3 are matched. Okay, it is similar to the first question, but here I have just given the power at port 1 and port 3 and port 2 is matched perfectly. Done. So if it is matched perfectly, then what will be my scattering parameters? S11 for it is minus half. Let me write first the scattering parameters. It is minus half, it is half, it is 1 by root 2, it is 1 by root 2, it is 1 by root 2, it is 1 by root 2. Okay, so this is the basic scattering matrix for the H-plane T-junction. But as per the given question, the port 2 and port 3 are perfectly matched. So that means these two values are 0 because S22 and S33 must be 0, perfectly matched. Done. Next, as per the given question, you have to identify the power available at port 1. So, port 1 is equals to half mod A1 square minus half mod B1 square. Incident power minus reflected power, because port 1 is not matched. So, this you can write half mod A1 square whole into 1 minus S11 square. Done. Now this half A1 square is already given that it is 100. Okay, 100 milliwatt. It is the incident power is given. So here I will write 100 milliwatt and 1 minus S11 is half whole square. So here I will get around 100 into, this is 1 by 4, this is 3 by 4, so near about 75 milliwatt we are going to transmit from port 1. Now port 2, we have to form a relation with respect to port 1. So here we'll have half mod A1 square whole into S21 square. B1 I have replaced with A1. So this value already we know it is 100 milliwatt, 100 milliwatt, and S21 you can see it is minus half, so it is half whole square, so it is around 25 milliwatt. So this much we are going to achieve. Similarly, at port 3 it is half mod A1 square S31 square. Like this I can write with respect to port 3, B3 it will come. So this is near about, it is mod of half B3 square. Just I have divided A1 and A1 at numerator, A1 at denominator, so we will get this value. Okay. So this whole value is 100 watt, 100 milliwatt, sorry, and S31 you can see it is 1 by root 2, which is whole square. So 500 divided by 2, it is near about 50 milliwatt. So if you add these two, you will get your 75 milliwatt. So it is justified. Okay. So like these questions will come in your exam. Either they will give in terms of E plane, either they will give in terms of H plane. Here we have solved few numerical with respect to H plane. You people can try same numerical with respect to E plane junction. In that you have to consider the E plane scattering matrix. Otherwise all the relations are same. Okay. Okay. So this is the combination of E and H plane, that is called hybrid T. Okay, hybrid T is also called as magic T. In this, what happens when it is having a 4-port device? Okay, first of all, let me clear it off. It is a 4-port device. If you do not consider the upper arm, it is quite similar to the H plane T junction. Okay. Now, if you do not consider the lower part, only this base collinear arm and the upper side arm if you consider, then it is represented as a E plane, E plane T junction. Now this whole device is basically used to split the power, basically used in a mixer, used in a duplexer, that I will discuss how where it is applicable and how we can use it. And this is basically used for impedance matching also. Okay, if a unknown resistance value is given to us, with the help of this device we can identify that what is the resistive value available in that resistor, okay, or what is the impedance value available in that particular whole network. Okay, so it is used for that purpose, that we will discuss later on, but first we will discuss how to identify these parameters. Since it is a 4-port device, there will be a 16 parameters we are going to identify, similar to the E plane and H plane. In E plane and H plane it is a 3-port device, but this E and H combination, that is called hybrid T, or you can say it is called magic T, in which they are having the 4-port. Okay. Now the thing is that how it will operate, the same principle what we have seen for E and H, same thing here also it will operate. Now if you feed the power at port 1 and port 2, this is port 1, this is port 2, if you give the in phase power with the same magnitude, you will not get any output at the port 3 because it's a difference arm. This port 3 is called as a difference arm that will work at a principle of E plane. So you will not get any output with respect to port 3. You will get the additive power at port 4 because it is the H plane. In H plane the power is added up, okay, and there is no relationship between port 3 and port 4 while we are providing the power at port 1 and port 2. That is the first. Second, if you feed the power at port 3, okay, if you feed the power at port 3, you will get the two equal magnitude at port 1 and port 2 but out of phase, as we have seen. That is a E plane T junction property, okay, and no output power is available at port 4. That means there is a no link between third and fourth, while port 3 is fed the power, okay. Third, if you fed the power at the port 4, what will happen? The equal power with equal in phase component is going to be delivered at port 1 and port 2, and there is no power is going to be delivered at port 3. So there is no link between port 4 and port 3 once again. That is the third case. And fourth most important is there is no correlation between port 1 and port 2. For example, if you provide the power at port 1, okay, we can't expect any sort of output is available at port 2. Similarly, if you feed the power at port 2, we can't expect the output power at port 1. So that means these two ports are isolated with each other. Okay. In E plane and H plane we have seen it is S12 is equals to S21 in E plane, in H plane, and in E plane it is S12 is equals to minus S21. We have seen that these phases are different and all, but in this case it is totally isolated. Means there is no correlation between them. Means S12 is equals to S21 is equals to 0. So what I have discussed now, I have jotted down, as you can see. First, it is a combination of E and H plane T. Yes, it is a combination of E and H plane T. So it is a 4-port device. Second, the working principle of this 4-port network is called as a characteristics of this particular device. The first one, case 1 I have written, if two in phase wave and equal magnitude provided at port 1 and port 2, then power is available at port 4, not at port 3, because 3 is a difference. So same power will be cancelled out with each other and resultant is 0. And at the port 4 we will achieve the maximum power. It is called as a sum arm. As you can see I have written it is called sum arm, it is called as a difference arm, and these two arms are called as a collinear arm. Okay. Second case, incident power at port 3. As I have told, if you feed the power at port 3, two power will split at port 1 and port 2 but out of phase. Okay. So divide equally, but it is opposite in phase and no coupling between port 3 and port 1. So what will be our parameters? S13 is equals to S31, okay, which is equals to minus S23, which is equals to minus S32, which is equals to 1 by root 2 you can consider. And we have a relation between 2 and 4. So S42 is equals to S24 and S42 is equals to S24. So these are the basic relation you can see. As well as we can say S14 is equals to S41 because there is a relationship between 1 and 4, 2 and 4. but there is no relationship between 3 and 4 directly, as well as 4 and 3. Okay. Next, third one, wave incident at port 4. The same power will split into two equal half at port 1 and port 2 in phase component. So for that I have written S14 is equals to S41, which is equals to 1 by root 2. S24 is equals to S42. It is same as this, so I have assigned this 1 by root 2. Now the question comes from where this 1 by root 2 comes. This 1 by root 2 is same derivation what we have done for E field and H field. Determination with respect to the deliver of power with respect to 1 and 4, 4 and 1, 2 and 4 and 4 and 2. So these are the parameters we are going to identify, and that too S34 is equals to S43 is equals to 0. Done. And last one, wave incident either in port 1 or port 2, there is, it will not appear, means output power. If I will feed the power at port 1, this power will not appear at port 2. Similarly, if you feed the power at port 2, no power will be obtained at port 1. This is the principle of this hybrid T junction. Okay, so there is these two ports are isolated with each other. Isolated means S12 is equals to S21 is equals to 0. So these are the basic relation through which we can construct our S parameter for hybrid T junction. Okay, so in order to derive all these parameters, those considerations we have considered, and find the for the ideal lossless condition for port 3 and port 4. That means if it is perfectly matched, you can take S33 and S44 both are 0. Okay. Next, due to the symmetry condition, S41, S41, S14 and S41, S24 and S42, what we have took, it is 1 by root 2. S13, S31, which is equals to S minus 23 and S32 is 1 by root 2. And S43 and S34 are not coupling with each other, so it is 0. And S12 and S21 is equals to 0, so this is called as the isolated ports, collinear are 1 and 2. Now, with the help of these parameters, we can determine the unknown factors with the help of that unitary property, because as it is written, it is a lossless junction for E plane and H plane. You can use the unitary property. So what I have done, I have substituted all these relation in this S matrix. Okay, S11, S12, S13, S14, S21, S22, S23 and S24. I have substituted all those relations in terms of the predefined values. So in place of S23, I have substituted minus S13. In place of S24, I have substituted S14. Here it is written, S24 can be written as S14. This I have written. S13 minus S13, 0, 0, S14, S14, 0, 0. So, this is S14, okay, like this. So, these particular values are written as it is with the help of this relation. Now, some parameters we know and some parameters we do not know. So, what to do with the help of that unitary property? You have to substitute those values and you have to identify the unknown quantity. So what I have done, I have identified the 4 rows so that the unknown factors can be identified. So here it is S11 square, first one S12 square, S13 square, S14 square must be equal to 1. Second row S12 square, S22 square, S13 square, S14 square equal to 1. Second, twice of mod S13 square must be equal to 1. Then here twice S14 square equals to 1. So with the help of S13 you can determine 1 by root 2 that it is satisfied. Here it is satisfied. S14 is also satisfied. Okay. So with the help of that I have written S13 is equals to half, S14 is equals to 1 by root 2. So these all are 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. With the help of this R1 and R2, the unknown component we can determine, that is S11. If you subtract these two, as I have written, subtracting row 1 with respect to row 2. If you subtract it, S11 is left, S12 is cancelled out, S22 is left, S13 is cancelled out, S14 is cancelled out. So we have left with S11 minus S22 square is equals to 0. So that means your S11 must be equal to S22. Done? So it is equal. So this condition we have identified. Next, if we substitute these all parameters in equation 1 here, S11 square, S12 square, S13 square and S14 square. So S13 and S14 is 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. Substitute here, you will get around 1. So this 1 and this 1, if you take subtract with each other, resultant must be 0, which indicate that mod of S11 square plus 12 square is equals to 0, and it is only possible when S11 and S12 both are 0. Then only it is possible as 0. Otherwise there is no other option. Okay. So S11 square, S12 square, when it will be both are 0? When both value are 0. So here I took only valid if S11 and S12 is 0. Now if S11 is 0, that means your S22 is also becomes 0. Here I have written S22 is equals to 0. So almost all parameter we have determined with the help of that unitary property. Now you are going to substitute all this value in the scattering parameter. Okay. S11 is 0, S22 is 0, S33 is 0, S44 is 0. So all the diagonal elements are 0 because perfectly matched as per the given condition and what we have derived. Then S12 is 0, here it is S12 is 0 as we have considered. Now S12 is 0 means S21 is also 0, no coupling. S13, S14 is 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2, substitute this value, 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. S13 is 1 by root 2, so it is minus 1 by root 2. Now this minus why here took? Because here S23 is minus 1 by minus S13. So here I have substituted minus S13. Just only substitute this value. You will get your scattering matrix for hybrid T junction. So these derivations basically ask in exam. You have to identify all these parameters. You have to identify all these relations, and then step by step with the help of that unitary property you have to determine the unknown factors. So this is the basic principle with respect to E plane and H plane and how we can derive all these parameters with the help of the given consideration. Okay, consideration is what? Port 3, port 4 are not related with each other. These are more perfectly matched. Okay, according to that you have to form all these relations. And 4 cases, what is the characteristics of that hybrid T? I have discussed. First, if the power is fed at port 1 and port 2, which port is available with respect to power and which power is not available. Port 3 is not available, port 4 is available. Similarly, if you fed the power at port 3, 1 and 2 is available but out of phase, 4 no relation. Third case, if you fit the power at port 4, equal power available at port 1 and 2 with in phase component but half of the power is available. No link with port 3. And last one, if you fit the power at port 1, no power is available at port 2 or port 2 power is not available at port 1. So these two ports are isolated with each other. With the help of this consideration, we have identified all these scattering parameters for the hybrid T junction. Next class we are going to discuss about the application of hybrid T junction and few more numericals with respect to this magic T. Okay, till then, thank you all.